100 years ago at the Wei family in Guangdong, inside a small room, a 12-year-old boy was lying on the bed, tossing and turning. That was Wei Yanhao. He smiled with a burning dream. I want to become the world's greatest warrior. Born into a martial arts family, he soon realized the only path to achieve his dream was through relentless effort. The teenager lay there with a sigh. No matter how much natural talent one has, success is impossible without hard work. However, for a boy as determined as him, a small problem arose. He turned his head toward the window, where the sunset was fading away. He sat up, dazedly watching the final moments of the day. Then he rolled back onto the bed and sighed, such a shame. Today I intended to start my journey, to become the world's greatest. But it is already dark. Well, might as well sleep my heart out. Cultivation can wait until tomorrow. Just then someone entered the room. Seeing him fast asleep, the man yelled, "Get up now." The boy woke up and smiled. "Father, you are here." That man was Wei Jiangshan, the head of the Guangdong Wei family, known as the Sword of Righteousness. He looked sternly at him. "Do you realize the sun is almost down?" The boy scratched his head. "I know, and yet you still ask. How can you still be lounging around like that?" The boy nonchalantly replied, "Because the sun is almost gone anyway." Wei Jiangshan was furious, veins popping on his head. "Do you have any idea how long you have been idling in this room?" The boy was a bit confused. 2 days or 3 days maybe. Probably just 2 days. The man roared in rage. "It has been for days. For days already, you little rascal. For whole days. You have done nothing but rot in here, tucking yourself in and rolling around. Does your back not ache at all? Even a bear lying down for 3 days would have to roll over from a sweaty back." The boy grinned and scratched his head. "That is why I sit up occasionally, before lying back down." "You are just overthinking things, father." Those words made him even more bitter. His teeth clenched tight. Seeing this, the boy quickly changed his tone. "It is not what you think, father. Actually, I intended to practice. But every time I open my eyes, the sun has already disappeared. When the sun goes down, you have to sleep. What else can I do? Only then can I wake up early to train tomorrow." Right? He got even more enraged. Stepped forward through the blankets and screamed, "You little brat. Today I will fix your laziness once and for all, and deal with that back talk too." The boy tumbled straight to the floor, landing in a headstand. A while later, he returned to his study holding his head with a sigh. Manager Zhao Feng entered and asked, "Are you worried about the second young master, sir?" He sighed and replied, "If he was not like that, why would I be worried?" Zhao Feng comforted him. "The young master will grow up soon, sir." He became even more gloomily, holding his head. "It is all my fault." Recalling when Wei Yanhao was 2 years old, Wei Jiangshan began his journey across the lands. His wife and 2 sons, and his unborn daughter sadly saw him off. Initially, he thought this trip would only last 2 years at most. But then he was caught up in countless world events. It took him 8 years to finally return home. Thanks to that, he earned the title Sword of Righteousness, far exceeding his own expectations. However, the price was not small. Upon his return, his once gentle wife had become someone more fearsome than a wild tiger. The son he loved like his own flesh and blood had now turned into a lazy bum, to the point he could not bear to look at him. Remembering everything, he could only sigh in helplessness. Yes, Zhao Feng smiled gently to comfort him. "Please do not worry too much. There will surely be a way to solve this." He stood up and stared at Zhao Feng. "What way?" Zhao Feng replied seriously. "Yes, sir. Have you forgotten? He is about to return after all." Wei Jiangshan regained his spirits upon hearing that, nodding. "That is right, isn't it?" Zhao Feng continued. "After 3 years of hard work at the dojo, it is now time for him to return." Wei Jiangshan gave a sinister smile and nodded. Indeed, that brat Wei Yanhao is doomed this time. The only person Wei Yanhao feared was his older brother, Shanhao. Suddenly, Yanhao flinched, feeling a chill. He turned around and saw Shanhao standing there, staring with a cold gaze. "How many hours have you been sleeping?" Yanhao broke into a sweat and stammered, "When did you get back, brother?" Shanhao looked stern. "I asked you first." Yanhao scratched his head and grinned about that. Shanhao was not joking. His face remained like ice. Yanhao explained in fear, "It is not what you think. I already practiced early this morning. Because I pushed hard, I was exhausted. So I just closed my eyes for a bit. I am telling the truth." Inside, he cursed, "Damn it all. When the heck did he get home?" Shanhao asked suspiciously, "You say you already practiced?" Seeing Yanhao nod, he pointed to a nearby lamp. "Then use a single technique to slice that candle in half for me. Let me see in the 3 years I was gone how much you have improved." Yanhao did not dare refuse. He could only get out of bed and take his sword to the lamp. Shanhao urged, what are you just standing there for? Strike already. Yanhao tensely raised his sword, but we are inside after all. It is kind of dangerous too. Shanhao was annoyed. I can handle that part. Stop mumbling and strike quickly. Yanhao had no other choice but to comply. He shut his eyes thinking whatever happens, happens. He took a deep breath and began to spin the sword. After a moment he pointed the sword toward the candle. About 3 meters from where he stood, Yanhao poured strength into his feet and lunged forward. Shanhao watched closely from behind without blinking. The technique Yanhao performed was called Flying Dragon, Ascending Heaven. He exhaled and looked back, but the candle was still intact, without a single scratch. Yanhao was terrified. I am totally screwed this time. Shanhao spoke up. 3 years have passed. 3 years is plenty to master a sword style. Enough to break through a realm. Yet you are even worse than 3 years ago. You disappoint me. The big brother then left the room without another word. After a short while, the family of 5 gathered around the feast table. Yanhao sat there looking gloomy, thinking to himself, I am definitely going to get indigestion. Wei Jiangshan turned to ask his son, how was your life at the dojo? Did you face any difficulties? Shanhao replied calmly, everything was fine, sir. If cultivation had no hardships, then it wouldn't be cultivation anymore. I believe those are challenges that I must overcome myself. Father. Wei Jiangshan nodded in satisfaction. While I was away, you have worked very hard. Shanhao replied, you are the one who worked hard, father. Due to your long martial journey, Wei Jiangshan nodded. Alright, is there anything else you want to share with us? Shanhao set his chopsticks down and said seriously, there is something I want to say. Han Changyi then asked, what is it? Shanhao looked straight. It is about Yanhao. Changyi frowned in worry. Is something wrong with Hauer? Yanhao suddenly froze in panic. He thought to himself, don't start trouble, big brother, there's nothing wrong with me. Shanhao looked at him and said clearly, I am taking him to the dojo. Hearing this, Yanhao was stunned. His jaw dropped, speechless. A transition to the 2 god-tier masters. Wei Jiangshan could not help but marvel. Whether it is Master Wuzhen or Bang Dao Cook, just hearing the name Wei Yanhao is enough to make them grit their teeth in anger. That was the beginning of a major historical event. At that time, no one suspected that lazy teenager would become a master who shakes the whole world. Yanhao rode his horse out of the house and groaned sadly. Big brother, we can rest a bit before moving on, right? Wei Yanhao reluctantly continued the journey to the dojo. His family was also reluctant to let go. Wei Shulian cried and held him back. Brothers, please do not go. Wei Jiangshan said joyfully, you must become a true honorable man before you are allowed to return. Changyi gave worried instructions. You two remember to be careful on the road. Yanhao waved goodbye to everyone with a gloomy face. The 2 brothers spurred their horses and left. The journey was fairly smooth, at least from Wei Shanhao's perspective. Yanhao lay flat on the horse's back complaining, how much further is it, God? Shanhao replied, just 10 more days to go. Yanhao was shocked. 10 more days. Shanhao reminded him, if you would ride the horse properly, we would have arrived in 5 days. Yanhao snapped back in frustration. I told you I have never ridden a horse before. Shanhao replied calmly, I am not blaming you. Yanhao was pissed. You are totally blaming me right now. Shanhao remained steady. You asked, so I answered. Yanhao continued to whine. Can we just rest a bit then move on? Do you have any idea how steep this hill is? I am dead tired here. My back is breaking and my butt is about to explode. He pointed toward a nearby tree. Look, brother. They must be exhausted. That is why those people are all lying on the ground. Shanhao looked and was suddenly startled. He immediately dismounted. Yanhao was confused. What is it? Where are you going? Shanhao did not answer and walked toward those people. Yanhao followed, asking, what are you doing? Shanhao sighed. It is too late. They are all dead. Yanhao broke into a cold sweat and cried out in panic and signaled for Yanhao to watch him. He pulled aside the corpse's clothing, pointed at the chest wound, and explained, this is a technique called the flower lust palm. Yanhao asked doubtfully, flower lust palm? Like a passion for flowers and grass. Shanhao shook his head. It was originally called the red flower palm, but a sexual predator named Shi Juyu used it to commit countless crimes. So it was renamed the flower lust palm. Yanhao interrupted. Wait, a predator? So, you mean the guy is nearby? Shanhao continued. Shi Juyu does not frequent brothels, but specifically targets women on these remote mountain roads. Corpses from the flower lust palm appearing here proves he has targeted a woman and attacked them, meaning right at this moment. A woman is in grave danger. With that, he immediately leaped away at high speed, leaving a command. I will be right back. You wait here. Yanhao screamed in panic. You want me to stay here now, guarding horses with all these dead bodies? Brother, you have got to be kidding me. But no matter how he screamed, Shanhao's figure faded away. Yanhao tensely glanced at the corpses nearby. The 2 war horses were panting, and flies were everywhere around the bodies. The more he looked, the more terrified he felt. I am doomed. Some time later, it began to get dark. Yanhao looked up at the sky, yelling, You liar! Why haven't you come back yet? If it was going to be like this, I wish you had taken me along. But then he thought seriously. Did something happen to Big Brother? Otherwise, there is no way he would be this late. Just then a strong wind whistled past. Yanhao gripped the reins to keep the warhorse from running wild. I have to think of something. Staying here might make me tiger or wolf bait. Immediately after, a bolt of lightning struck, making him scream in terror. The rain started to pour. Yanhao looked at the sky in despair. This is truly messed up. His scream echoed through the air. Under the rain, he gritted his teeth and pushed the horses up the mountain. For some reason, he loaded all the corpses onto the horses and decided to take them along. Damn it, if I leave the bodies here, they will be food for wild beasts. I cannot just abandon them. I was going to give them a proper burial then leave. Who would have thought it would rain? I need to find shelter fast. Just then, the warhorse suddenly stopped. Yanhao pushed from behind and yelled in annoyance. What is wrong with this horse now? It just won't listen at all. He had now reached a stream bank. Lightning struck, startling the horse, which kicked him away. Yanhao could not react in time, rolled into a bush, and lay there groaning in pain. Oh God, my back! That cursed horse deserves to die. But as he sat up, he suddenly noticed something. What is this? A cave. Immediately after, he laughed like a maniac in excitement. Great, I found a place to crash. He looked back outside and saw the 2 horses still standing there. Yanhao quickly tied the reins of the 2 war horses to a nearby rock so they would not run off. After finishing, he looked at them and sighed. I can't even give them a beating. Then he looked down at his own state and muttered, What a mess I am. No wonder they say leaving home is a sea of suffering. I left a mark at the cave entrance. Big Brother will probably find his way here. With that, he slumped to the ground with a sigh. Whatever, I am just going to sleep my heart out first. But even lying there, he could not close his eyes. Worrying inside, I hope nothing happened to Big Brother. Probably not. Who does he think he is anyway? He will definitely come back and find this place. Finally, he drifted off to sleep. The 2 war horses, while he slept, untied their reins and wandered off. The sun soon began to rise, but Yanhao was still sleeping like the dead, with no sign of waking up. By the time it got dark again, he had slept for 2 straight days without waking. Suddenly, a blue light appeared around his body, quickly covering him entirely. This light gently lifted him into the air, carrying him deeper into the cave, through the rock walls, and disappearing from that spot. An unknown amount of time later, Yanhao dizzily woke up. He looked around in a daze. Where is this? The cave ceiling looks so strange. It seems I have gone deeper into the cave. Or maybe I just rolled here while sleeping. Just then a voice rang out, O Chosen One. Yanhao was startled and panicked. What the heck is this? He fell to the ground in immense pain. But right after that, he noticed a glowing blue orb floating in midair. The voice came from it. Welcome, O Chosen One, who has come here by destiny. Descendant of mine, the infinite white light sword. Yanhao asked suspiciously. Excuse me, is that glowing ball actually talking to me? The voice confirmed, yes, O Chosen One. I am transcending space and time to pass my will on to you. Accept my will and bring peace to the world. But Yanhao screamed in terror. What kind of demon is this? The voice reassured him, fear not, I have already ascended. What remains here is but a sliver of my consciousness. I left it for the Chosen One who would eventually come. So stop doubting and just accept my will. Yanhao thought to himself, wait, this situation feels way too familiar. A mysterious cave and the consciousness of some ancient master. This is definitely a stroke of luck. Maybe because I have lived such a good life, the heavens are finally blessing me. And with this thing, I can get strong fast. No need to go to that dojo anymore, he laughed joyfully. The voice rang out again, time is running out. O Chosen One, accept my swordsmanship. Use it to restore justice to the world. I shall grant you my light sword style. You must train relentlessly to sharpen yourself. Since you carry my bloodline, your talent will surely be extraordinary. Just train hard here for 30 years, and you can reclaim a fraction of my true power. Hearing this, Yanhao's face turned pale. 30 years. The voice confirmed, yes, you only need to train for 30 years. Yanhao hurriedly waved his hands. Wait a second. I do not think we are meant for each other. Please go find someone else. The master was shell-shocked and blurted out, what? Yanhao nonchalantly replied, well, a stroke of luck. That cost me 30 years of my life. Is something I would rather not have. After rejecting the offer, Yanhao immediately turned to run away. I will be taking my leave then. But the other party would not let him leave so easily. Just a few steps out, a voice stopped him. I told you to wait a damn minute. The speaker was Bai Wuxian. Yanhao stopped and glanced back at him. I knew it. You are just a total scammer. Who the hell? Do you think I am to say such things to me? Yanhao did not back down, pointing and shouting. You act all high and mighty and mysterious. But you are showing your true colors now, aren't you? Bai Wuxian explained. I am not acting. I am truly a consciousness separated from my body. Yanhao stood there with his arms crossed and chin up, still not believing it, a consciousness outside the body, huh? Immediately after, he swung a punch to teach him a lesson. But the punch could not even touch him. Seeing him phase through his body and fall on the ground, Bai Wuxian asked in confusion, what the hell are you doing? Yanhao screamed in terror, it is some kind of witchcraft. Bai Wuxian snapped back, how dare you call me a ghost? This is the soul transfer technique, a martial art that only warriors of an extremely high level can ever hope to perform. But Yanhao did not care, nonchalantly saying, I have already decided to call you a ghost. The old man was driven insane by him. I told you that is not it. Back to the storyteller. The beggar god continued to explain calmly. And just like that, Wei Yanhao met his master. The boy asked doubtfully, soul transfer technique. Does such a thing really exist? The beggar god confirmed, yes. It is a skill that only top-tier martial artist can actually pull off. The boy was still puzzled, so who exactly was that warrior to perform such a profound technique? The beggar god asked sternly, have you heard of the Sword Emperor? The boy replied, how could I not know him? He is known as the greatest warrior of all time, a legend from the Bai family of 10,000 swords, one of the masters who left their mark in history. The beggar god nodded with a smile. That is right, Bai Wuxian, whom future generations called the Sword Emperor, was the master of the Radiant War God. The boy was shocked, really. But wasn't he a figure from 300 years ago? The beggar god explained exactly. He was a great man from a forgotten era. But his meeting with Wei Yanhao is a fact. The boy marveled, what an extraordinary encounter. So after learning the truth, the Radiant War God begged to be his disciple. Right, the beggar god chuckled. That Wei Yanhao kid, actually it was the opposite. The Sword Emperor realized that for 300 years, no Bai family descendant had come to find him. So he was determined to take a disciple no matter what. He yelled at the boy, you must become my disciple. Yanhao indifferently walked away with his hands behind his back. Man, why are you so worked up? I am not even a Bai family member. I really cannot learn this. I am out of here. The old man raised his hand and screamed, you think I will let you leave that easily? Immediately a giant boulder blocked the exit. Yanhao stared at the rock blocking his path, totally dazed. The old man behind him laughed triumphantly. How about that? This is a stone gate over 10 feet thick. With your current strength, you can never lift it or break it. But if you learn my martial arts, you can slice it like butter and walk right out. Yanhao thought for a while, then sighed. He reached into his clothes looking for something. I guess I have no choice. Seeing he still had no intention of becoming a disciple, yelled out loud, I already told you, with your current power, you cannot break that stone gate. But Yanhao was indifferent, took out his sword and started carving at it. This baffled the old man. What the hell are you doing? He nonchalantly replied, can't you see? I am digging a dog hole. No matter how hard it is just rock. If I scratch it with iron, it will wear down bit by bit. I will be through it in a year or two, no big deal. The old man was helpless. Musing, you plan to do that for the whole years. He stayed firm with his choice, continuing to carve away diligently. The old storyteller found it hilarious. He was the one who asked me to train. For 30 years he was so provoked he started shaking. The old man gritted his teeth. This damn brat. I really wish I could kill him. But I can't. After a moment he calmed down and tried to entice him again. Just try learning once. I promise I won't disappoint you. The kid didn't care, shaking his head in refusal. I am not interested in that. The old man didn't give up and kept persuading. In that case, I will help you break that stone gate within 20 years. How about that? What do you think? The kid lay on the ground shaking his head. 20 years, huh? Still way too long. If it was just 3 years, maybe I would reconsider. The old man was bitter inside, but still tried to act friendly. You mean you want to learn all my techniques in just 3 years? Even if Zhang Sanfeng came back to life, he couldn't pull that off. Yanhao had no reaction, sat back up, and continued carving. Then I guess it is just not meant to be. The old man couldn't take it anymore, grinding his teeth loudly. Finally, he offered the number 5 years. Fine, what about 5 years? No matter what it takes. Within 5 years, I will turn you into the world's greatest warrior. Hearing this, Yanhao started to get a bit interested and thought, 5 years to become the world's greatest, huh? The fact that someone can remain as a vivid consciousness like this is something I have never heard of before. Maybe half of what this old geezer says is true. Who knows, he might actually be the world's top master. Alright, I will take this chance to become a master myself. Only 5 years is quite a bargain. He decisively threw his sword aside. Alright, then I will give it a shot. At that time, Wei Yanhao had no idea that the man before him was the Sword Emperor, but the Sword Emperor was also pitiful because the person he met in his final moments was someone like this. Seeing Yanhao fast asleep, the old man yelled, "Wake up, you damn brat." Yanhao woke up dizzily. "I am dead tired." "Don't you ever need to sleep?" "Oh right, you are already dead. Why would you sleep?" "But I am alive. Don't you know living people need their rest?" Bai Wuxian was shaking with rage, but still tried to stay calm. "Fine, it was my fault, all right. But you have to actually train now, don't you?" He couldn't stop cursing the heavens, because the disciple he took in during his final moments turned out to be a lazy brat to an unimaginable degree. Ding Hao yawned repeatedly. "I just opened my eyes. Why talk about training? Sleeping all day was one thing, but every time he started training, in Gai Ding Hao only did it half-heartedly once and stopped." The old man fumed with rage and shouted, "If you keep this up, forget 5 years. Even if 55 years pass, you will never finish." The boy asked back dejectedly, "Is there not a slightly easier way to learn?" He thought to himself, if only that disciple were mute, maybe I would hate him less. Ding Hao sighed. That is why people have to find a capable master. Every single word he uttered made the old man blood boil. If he had a physical body, he would have suffered a chi deviation, with shattered meridians and collapsed. He pondered in silence. "I no longer crave wealth or glory. I left my will behind just to pass on some martial arts, only to face this miserable situation. If only I had a body, I would beat him senseless. Would that not make him easier to teach?" Ding Hao rolled around on the ground for a while, then asked, "Hey master, how did you do it back then? When you collapsed that stone gate? Could you not use that power to control my body and teach me martial arts like that?" He explained, "At that time, your master only pulled a trigger of a mechanism that was already set up beforehand." Hearing that, he became even more confused. "A mere will, without even a body, how could you pull anything?" He lectured, "That has nothing to do with the physical body. It is just using inner energy to pull it through telekinesis from the void." At this moment, he seemed to realize something and burst into a hearty laugh. "Why did I not realize this sooner?" Seeing him like that, Ding Hao was full of questions. "What is it? What is wrong with you, old man? Have you gone mad, old man?" He laughed happily and said, "I do not know why I was stuck in the prejudice that I do not have a body. Maybe it is because I have maintained this will for 300 years, so my mind is no longer sharp. Anyway, thank you, Dean." Hao looked at him in confusion. "Old man, what are you mumbling to yourself?" Suddenly, he sensed something strange and quickly looked behind him. The solid stone wall now began to show cracks. Meanwhile, the old man continued to laugh. "Thank you, I have attained enlightenment because of you. Though I lack a body, these stones, I can easily control them anytime." Ding Hao asked nervously, "What are you planning to do?" The old man stared at him with determination. "If I can control stones, then I can also do things like this." Ding Hao broke into a cold sweat and cried out, "Wait, old man, no, master." But his plea could not stop the old man. He continued to launch attacks at him. Ding Hao's miserable screams echoed, and then gradually faded away. Since that day, the training of Bok Vohan and Ngai Ding Hao continued relentlessly. During the day, they practiced swordsmanship, not wasting even a single moment. At night, they discussed the way of the sword. Even in his sleep, Din Hao never stopped training. Thanks to the peerless dream cultivation, legendary art that Bok Vohan taught him, his life became the sword, and the sword became his life. Not a single moment was he allowed to be lazy. Time flew like an arrow. 5 years passed. And then that day finally arrived. Din Hao opened the stone wall himself and stepped out. He looked up at the sky, took a deep breath. The one who will shake the world has returned. A devious smile appeared on his lips as he muttered, "I am finally back." Going back in time to one day before he left the stone wall, Din Hao was deep in sleep. When he was woken by his master's call, he sighed, "Let me sleep a bit more." But the old man persisted in calling. Finally, he had to sit up and said irritably, "Seriously, I told you to let me sleep. Do you not trust me at all?" But right after that, he realized something was unusual. The old man sat there, voice serious. "Come closer." Seeing his master so solemn, Din Hao also became more serious. "What is it, master?" The old man sighed, his voice full of emotion. "I spent my whole life pursuing martial arts, and seeing its ultimate end was my only wish. I used to think that as long as I achieved that, everything would be complete. But reality was not like that. Martial arts, after all, is only mastered by humans, without experiencing the ups and downs of life, without walking the path of an ordinary person. Then even if you see the peak of swordsmanship, what use is it? You were the one who helped me realize that. This is the first time I tried teaching someone, sometimes angry, sometimes frustrated, but seeing you progress, I felt joy and understood what excitement is. And then, I also understood the meaning of affection." Din Hao asked doubtfully, "Master, what is wrong with you? Why do you sound as if we will never see each other again?" The old man nodded in confirmation, voice somber. "That is right. It is time." Din Hao got agitated. "What are you talking about? What do you mean, it is time? Do you think saying that can fool me? Initially, you told me I had to train for 30 years. Only 5 years have passed. You should exist for another 25 years. The old man did not deny it, voice full of bitterness. "I did say that indeed. But the energy used to maintain my will has been transferred to you as an inner core to help you survive in here without food. Maintaining it was not as easy as you think. Now my strength is depleted. It is time for us to part ways." Din Hao hesitated, voice full of confusion. "Why didn't you tell me sooner? If you had told me before, I could have gone to find food myself and come back to train immediately." The old man thought to himself, "If you left this place, only God knows if you would ever return." Still, he did not say it, and only replied softly, "It is okay. I understand your heart completely. Anyway, the time spent with you was very joyful. I once hoped to see you roam the world longer. But this is enough." He smiled contentedly, eyes full of pride looking at his disciple. "In my eyes, the image of you dominating the world is already clear. Behold the world and hold it in your heart. If you can do that, everything else will find its way to you. But before conquering the world, learn to observe people." I was so obsessed with reaching the peak that I forgot what was right under my feet. Do not repeat my mistake. Even if I cannot meet you again, even if the whole world knows nothing of my existence, Master, then in every move and every sword strike of yours, my shadow will be there. You do not need to be outstanding or great. Just being yourself is enough." Din Hao's face was sorrowful, his voice choked. "Master, you cannot leave like this. I still have so much to learn. No, I do not need to learn anymore. Just stay for one more day." The old man gradually faded, leaving his final words, "As long as you are happy, that is enough." In the dark cave, Din Hao was left all alone. He stood there, tears falling like rain, his heart aching with immense pain. "If only it would have been so much better if you told me sooner." Cut to the present. Din Hao had a furious, distorted face, veins popping on his forehead. "So this is why you left without saying a word. When the hell did you write all this? You damn old geezer, if you are gonna pass, do it peacefully. Why pull the stunt?" But before vanishing, Bok Vohan had left a message on the clothes that Din Hao was holding. The summary is as follows. Din Hao's martial arts, which he fast-tracked in 5 years, were still incomplete. Bok Vohan knew if he disappeared, Din Hao would stop training. So he placed a seal inside the boy's body. This seal used Bok Vohan's inner core, which Din Hao had swallowed, as its center, forcing his martial arts to evolve on their own. In other words, he would automatically get stronger. However, if his skills cannot keep up with the core's growth, his internal energy will be sucked dry, leading to death. Basically, if he is lazy with training, he is a dead man. Reading this, Dean Hao screamed in frustration. That damn old man played me again. So, travel the world and witness everything. By seeing the world, you will feel many things. And once you feel it, you will reap the rewards. Do not stay in one small place and be content with being an average person. Look toward greater things and become a great man. Therefore, the first place you must go is No Lam. Find a world-renowned great scholar and stay by his side. You will surely feel something. After No Lam, Master forced him to countless other places. Dean Hao cursed again. That blasted master. How many places are you going to make me visit, huh? He began to stretch his limbs with determination. I intended to go home immediately. Big brother should be fine for now. I will settle everything and then return. So please, father and mother, do not worry too much. What must be done, must be done. He bowed before the cave. Just so you know, I am not coming back here again. Even at the last minute, they still made their child suffer. Wait a minute, where did I make a mistake? Shortly after he left, the old man reappeared in front of the cave. He stood there with a satisfied smirk, eyes full of contentment. You naive brat. Did you really think without learning world affairs, you would wither and die like a corpse? No such martial art exists in this world. Ho ho, you planned to rot in your village, didn't you? I could not let you do that. That is why I had to act like that. My disciple, this world is vast. And of course, I also value the martial arts I passed to you. You little punk, thanks to you, I was very happy. So, you must live a truly happy life too. With that, he slowly vanished from the mortal world. Dean Hao was walking when he suddenly caught a scent of flowers and grass. Why is there suddenly a fragrance like this? And so, time continued to pass. One day in Kaifeng City, a skinny Dean Hao arrived to ask around. Excuse me, is this the beggars gang? Facing him was Trong Hat, a branch leader. He looked at him with suspicion. What is this? What is this smell? Seeing him confirm, Dean Hao asked, I came to ask about something. I heard I have to pay, right? Trong Hat explained. Of course you have to pay. Nothing in this world is free. He squinted, assessing Dean Hao. Judging by the voice, he is barely 20, but he looks like he is over 50. Among beggars, this is the first time I have seen someone of such high caliber. Like this guy, he does not look human, but like a ghost. Thinking this, he spoke out. Since you look like you are in the same trade, I would love to make it free if I could. But we have our own rules here. Seeing Dean Hao's confusion, he explained, I mean, we are all beggars, right? Dean Hao shouted angrily, in what way do I look like a beggar? The response was terrifyingly blunt. Every single part of you screams beggar. Anyway, without money, I cannot give you any information or anything else. So beat it, or go panhandling. Bring some cash back, and we will talk. Dean Hao yelled in annoyance. I already said I am not a beggar. What do you mean, go panhandling? Trong Hat looked at him seriously. It is not because someone is a beggar that they panhandle. It is because they panhandle that they become a beggar. With your current look, just placing a basket in front of you would be enough to rake in a ton of money. Why are you wasting such talent? Saying this, he suddenly paused. He grabbed Dean Hao's hands and coaxed him. Do you want to go into business with me? And so, Dean Hao partnered with him to beg. Indeed, he collected a massive amount of money. They say the job chooses the man, and it is true. Trong Hat looked at the pile of money, shaking with excitement. In just half a day, he earned enough for 6 months of living for the entire branch. The god of wealth has arrived. Ho ho. The beggars outside were confused, discussing among themselves. What is going on? A legendary beggar must have just arrived. Inside, Trong Hat looked at him seriously. Alright, so, what was it you wanted to ask? Dean Hao replied immediately. A list of world-renowned great scholars, their locations, hobbies, and specialties. Dean Hao continued. A list of world-renowned blacksmiths, their locations, hobbies, and specialties, and so on. He asked about every single profession in the world. Trong Hat was stunned after hearing it all. You want to know all that information? Well, since I promised, I will find out for you. Come back in 7 days to get the information. He looked at Dean Hao and shouted, Hey? I never said you could just lounge around there. Dean Hao sighed. I have nowhere else to go, and nothing else to do. So I will just stay here. Trong Hat frowned. You mean you are staying here? It is not impossible. Fine, let's go with that. A beggar rushed in, his face full of worry. Branch leader, something big happened. Trong Hat scowled with annoyance. What is all the noise about? What big thing could possibly happen to you beggars? The man hurriedly explained. Sir, our entire gang is about to starve to death. Trong Hat was bewildered. What did you say? Just then, harsh insults echoed from a distance. Where did you half-ass beggars come from? To dare beg out here? Get the hell out of here. Trong Hat ran while asking the person next to him. Sir, come see for yourself over there. But Trong Hat was still irritated. What the hell is making you cause such a scene? Arriving at the scene, Trong Hat gasped, his face cringing. On the street, the crowd was still hurling insults. Hey, you guys. If you are beggars, you should at least be like that one over there. At least reach that level. The target of the ridicule was Dean Howe. They threw money at his face, while showing pity. I have lived my whole life, and today is the first time I have seen someone so miserably poor. Take some money and go get some soup, now move. Zhang Yi stood by his side, jaw dropped and speechless. Yan Hao smirked and thought to himself, making money is actually pretty easy. And from that moment, the process of Wei Yan Hao taking over the beggar gang officially began. After returning, Yan Hao sprawled out on the floor and cried out, I am so thirsty. Hearing that, Zhang Yi shouted loudly, Where is everyone? Bring water here immediately. Yan Hao looked at the bowl in his hand and sighed. Why is this bowl so filthy? Zhang Yi got furious and instantly thrashed the subordinate. I told you to bring a fresh bowl already. You useless piece of trash. Yan Hao continued to complain. This water is a bit too lukewarm. Zhang Yi lost his mind even more and screamed. I said go up the mountain and fetch cool, clean water. How many times do I have to say it before you idiots understand? Yan Hao lay back on the floor and giggled. This is actually quite good. Zhang Yi looked at him, shaking with pure rage. But he did not dare utter a word. He could only curse under his breath. Absolute damnation. I am the branch leader of the beggar gang, yet I have become a mere servant for that beggar brat, following his orders. But if I kick him out, the brothers under my command will all starve to death. The information this jerk requested. When on earth is it going to arrive? While he was thinking, Zhang Yi heard Yan Hao complain about a backache. He quickly rushed over to massage him. Good heavens, we cannot have you having a sore back, sir. Just then, a shout came from outside. Branch leader, is the information here? Zhang Yi's face lit up as if he had hit the jackpot. The intel was then handed over to Yan Hao. After reading for a moment, he asked, Is this it? With just this tiny bit of info, you actually try to run a business? Zhang Yi was confused. Taking the paper, what do you mean by that, sir? Give it here. Let me see. He read intently. His face immediately crumpled. Those miserable bastards. Are they trying to let this branch starve or what? What kind of pathetic, half-baked intel is this? This will not do at all. I have to find another way. Yan Hao had sat up by now, saying, So I did not give enough money, huh? Should I go make some more cash then? Zhang Yi panicked, hurriedly stopping him, thinking to himself, before this damn beggar causes more trouble, I must come up with a new plan. He then led Yan Hao out onto the street, speaking in a flattering tone. A noble person like you should not have to suffer while begging. Please come this way to enjoy yourself. They arrived at a mysterious place. A woman's voice rang out with surprise, mixed with a hint of scrutiny, looking to buy info. Well, this is truly bizarre. To think the famous lake dog Zhang Yi would actually come seeking me here one day. The owner of that voice was Lady Ghost, Hall Master of Kaifeng, under the Jia Wu Gate, a notorious intelligence organization. Zhang Yi immediately cupped his hands, showing proper respect according to etiquette. Greetings, Hall Master. Behind him, Yan Hao was still fixated on the nickname Lake Dog that was just mentioned. He chuckled and started teasing Zhang Yi. Is your nickname really Lake Dog? It sounds like complete garbage, haha. But deep down, Zhang Yi just wanted to tear that rotten dog Yan Hao to pieces. Nevertheless, he tried to suppress his annoyance. Turning to Lady Ghost, he said firmly, I need information. Seeing Zhang Yi suffer in silence, Yan Hao pushed his luck even further, continuing his relentless mockery. Lady Ghost observed the scene with clear amusement on her face. Then she smiled and said, This really is a strange sight. A beggar gang branch leader like you, coming to an intel group like ours, at Jia Wu Gate to demand information. Don't tell me you don't know the relationship between is basically like cats and dogs. What on earth is going on here? Zhang Yi quickly pointed at Yan Hao, who was standing behind him, explaining clearly, I am simply bringing a client to you. That is all. It is not the beggar gang that needs the intel. Hearing the explanation, Lady Ghost's expression suddenly darkened. She frowned and questioned. Are you playing games with me? So what if it is not a request from the gang? The client is still just another beggar from your gang. Are you mocking our Jia Wu Gate right now? Are you trying to provoke us? Let me tell you something. Jia Wu Gate has absolutely no information to sell to the beggar gang. While they were bantering, Yan Hao heard the harsh words from Lady Ghost, and his expression turned more serious. He spoke directly, but I am not one of them. Lady Ghost decisively turned away, not wanting to talk any further. She warned coldly, if you keep fooling around like this, I will not let this slide. At least show some respect to each other's pride. Yan Hao, completely unfazed, asked back, isn't Jia Wu Gate an intelligence organization? Yet something as simple whether I belong to the beggar gang or not is something you don't even know, and you dare to sell information for a living. How unprofessional. Incredibly unprofessional indeed. Hearing those provocations, the veins on Lady Ghost's forehead bulged. She spun around abruptly, her eyes sharp as knives staring at them, calling out sternly, Kong Wu. As soon as there was a response, she immediately asked about Yan Hao's identity. A low voice replied to her. Specific details about him are still unclear. We only know he is not with the beggar gang. Lady Ghost let out a huff of anger. Yan Hao, on the other hand, spread his arms and shrugged nonchalantly. See that? So, can we trade information now? Lady Ghost burst out laughing in delight, but that laughter was laced with irritation. I won't sell it. So what? I am annoyed now. So the deal is off. Both of you get lost right now. Yan Hao wasn't angry at all. On the contrary, he gave a faint smirk. Business ethics these days are quite something. I said I would pay to buy it, yet you insist on not selling. At this rate, the end of Jia Wu Gate isn't too far off. Lady Ghost turned back, giving a cold, disdainful snort. If you don't want your limbs severed, you had better watch your mouth. Yan Hao still showed no sign of fear. Instead, he looked surprised. Oh, did I say something wrong? Auntie, those two words were the last straw, completely making Lady Ghost explode in fury. Are you intentionally insulting our Jia Wu Gate? She roared. Yan Hao didn't care, just stood there leisurely, even whistling carelessly. Seeing his indifferent attitude, she screamed, Kong Wu, teach him a lesson. The assassin named Kong Wu, hiding in the shadows, instantly appeared before Yan Hao with incredible speed. Seeing Kong Wu's attack aimed straight at Yan Hao, Zhang Yi screamed in horror, no. But to everyone's surprise, Yan Hao simply covered Zhang Yi's mouth, signaling for him to step back. Yan Hao's other hand swung up effortlessly, striking Kong Wu right in the head. Yan Hao took out a top assassin. Lady Ghost and Zhang Yi were both stunned and frozen in place, witnessing this scene, sending the assassin crashing down instantly, with just one punch, looking light as a feather, showing an incredible level of power. Only then did they realize he was a true martial arts master. Yan Hao scratched his head and gave a shy smile. Sorry about that. If someone tries to hit me, I tend to counterattack out of habit. If you had given me a heads up before jumping in, I would have held back my strength a little. Zhang Yi thought to himself in awe. I knew he was a martial artist, but just now, even I couldn't keep up with that move. He is nothing short of a monster. Yan Hao sighed and muttered. This is all that old man's fault. Lady Ghost had recovered her senses by now. She cupped her hands respectfully toward Yan Hao. A great master has graced us with his presence. Please forgive my blindness. Yan Hao looked at her in confusion. What are you talking about? Haven't we been talking for a while now? Lady Ghost frowned, a gaze full of deep thought. But looking at this, it seems your purpose for coming here is not exactly with good intentions, is it? Young Master Tronghat, called out by name, shuddered in fear. He frantically waved his hands, trying to explain. Ghost Hall Master, I do not know if you will believe me, but I truly have no ulterior motives at all. It is just that there is some info that person needs. Currently cannot handle the search. That is why I took the liberty of coming here to request help from the Hall Gate. Ghost Lady raised an eyebrow, her tone full of skepticism. Is that why you brought him here? You dragged a wild tiger into my rabbit hole, and then claim you are only here because you need our help? While the two of them were arguing heatedly, Dean Hao had already dragged the unconscious Kong Vo to the back and said nonchalantly, You are injured, so go back and rest. After a moment of deliberation and scrutiny, Ghost Lady finally turned serious. Fine. I will temporarily trust the words of the branch leader of the beggar sect. Hearing that, Trong Hat breathed a sigh of relief, clasping his hands in constant gratitude. Ghost Lady continued, her tone turning cold. However, providing information is a different matter. After all, the fact that he injured our people is undeniable. Obviously, our Hao-Gate wants him to pay a price befitting those actions. Ding Hao asked back suspiciously, what kind of price? She burst into a sinister laugh, her eyes sparkling. Once you have entered the underworld, there is only one price to pay. Blood for blood, a life for a life. As soon as she finished, shadows immediately appeared surrounding Ding Hao. Ding Hao did not seem to care much. He spoke teasingly. The people here all show up in such interesting ways, don't they? Ghost Lady looked straight at him, her face more serious than ever. I do not know what your purpose is, but once you have injured our people, do not expect to leave here alive. Ding Hao replied warily, his tone full of helplessness. Honestly, I keep talking, but she just does not understand, does she? I already told you I did not mean it. It was because he tried to hit me first, so I just gave him a tiny tap. That is all. Ghost Lady frowned, her expression extremely grim. That damn scrawny bag of bones. He is so annoying. She then continued. The way of our underworld is simple. If an arm is cut off, we cut back both an arm and a leg. If a cheek is slapped, we gouge out the opponent's cheek. Ding Hao chuckled, making a sarcastic comparison. Your working style is just like a bunch of immature brats. Standing beside him, Trong Hat was extremely tense and hurriedly advised him. I told you to shut your mouth already. Ghost Lady ignored Trong Hat and continued her words. This time we will be lenient and only carve out a piece of flesh from your face. Ding Hao waved his hand, interrupting. Sorry to jump in, but where on my face would you find any flesh? Lately, I have not been eating very well, so my body is all skin and bones now. Ghost Lady was once again driven mad by him. She decisively ordered the Shadows to finish him. Facing a dangerous situation, Ding Hao still stood there nonchalantly, scratching his head with a puzzled look. Just a moment ago you wanted to carve flesh from my face, and now you want to kill me already. You guys started charging interest that fast? Talk about compound interest, that is truly terrifying. But the Shadows, fearsome assassins in the eyes of others, were nothing to Ding Hao. No one saw how he made his move. They only saw the Shadows scattered, their weapons flying everywhere. Ghost Lady was once again shocked by him. Unable to even close her mouth, Ding Hao threatened coldly, his voice echoing through the space. None of you should move, because I do not want to start killing people yet. Trong Hat was once again frozen by his terrifying strength, completely immobile. Ghost Lady was terrified to the core. What is this horrific aura? Who the hell is he? Ding Hao continued, his voice tinged with a bit of gloom. My master said that those who have attacked me twice could also attack a third or fourth time. So, never leave any loose ends behind. Though I hate that old man, I have to admit that he has never been wrong. Hearing this, Ghost Lady became even more intensely tense. I have messed with the wrong person. That guy is absolutely not someone the Hao-Gate can handle. I must stay calm. Just one slip up and today, the Kaifeng branch of the Hao-Gate might vanish entirely. Thinking this, she coughed once, trying to maintain her composure, and asked, what do you want? I mean, what information? Trong had immediately stepped forward, holding out a paper. You see this paper in my hand? It still has many blank spaces. Just fill in the blanks for us. Ghost Lady took the paper, finding it hard to believe. Is that all? Just because he couldn't solve this, that jerk had to bring such a monster to the Hao-Gate. After a moment of thought, she spoke. This is not difficult, but I need some time to search for the info. Can you wait? Receiving an agreement from Ding Hao, she breathed a sigh of relief. Then please wait a moment. And Kaifeng branch leader of the beggar sect, would you mind coming with me for a bit? After a short while, Trong Hat returned to Ding Hao. As soon as he saw him, Ding Hao burst into laughter. Your face is swollen like a bun. Did you get beaten up? Ho, the reputation of the beggar sect is nothing special, eh? To let the Hao-Gate beat you into this state. Trong Hat was annoyed, pointing at Ding Hao and shouting. That woman is no ordinary member of the Hao-Gate. She is the daughter of the sect master, the next successor of the sect. She grew up eating elixirs like regular meals, and chewing spirit pills like they were iron. How could I possibly stand a chance against her? Just then, Ghost Lady appeared behind him. I have brought the information you requested. Trong Hat jumped back in surprise, while Ding Hao happily stood up, clasping his hands in thanks. The three of them sat down at the table to exchange. We also have our own principles, Seeing that Dean Hao didn't seem to understand, Strong Hat reminded him, that is the info fee. Dean Hao suddenly realized and asked, how much? Ghost Lady flatly stated the figure, 5,000 taels. Dean Hao held out 5 cents, barely worth anything. Take it. Strong Hat hurriedly clarified, silver taels. I mean silver taels. Dean Hao was startled. What? Why is the info fee so damn expensive? Ghost Lady explained. It includes top-tier information, so the price is a bit high. Dean Hao sighed. There was no other way. Seeing Dean Hao get up to walk outside, Strong Hat asked, where are you going? Dean Hao replied, since I don't have the silver, I have to go earn money. Where else? Strong Hat hurriedly ran over and grabbed his leg. What did I bring you here for then? Dean Hao was confused. So what do you want me to do now? Strong Hat tried to stop him, not letting Dean Hao go to the streets to beg. In the end, Strong Hat had to scrape up all the money Dean Hao had earned before, along with his own hidden slush fund. The missing part. He wrote a promissory note to scrape together the full 5,000 taels. Seeing Strong Hat crying pathetically, Dean Hao asked, like dog, are you actually crying? Strong Hat screamed, you wiped out my entire secret stash. How can you even say that? Dean Hao read the info intently, remarkable, so detailed. It is worlds apart from the trash those beggars gathered. The Hao Gates level is truly on another plane. By the way, I also want to send a letter to Guangdong. Ghost Lady asked if the fee would be high. Dean Hao replied, it will be pricier than a transport agency, but in exchange, you just need to answer a few of my questions. Consider it the payment for the delivery. She started asking for Dean Hao's name and age. When he revealed he was only 17, Strong Hat was shocked. What? You are younger than me. Ghost Lady also broke into a sweat, thinking 17 years old was such monstrous martial arts. Then she suddenly remembered. Guangdong and Gai Dean Hao. Could it be that you are the 5th son of the Guangdong and Gai family? Dean Hao was surprised. You know of me, Ghost Lady explained. How could I not? The Guangdong and Gai family commissioned us to find the young master. Strong Hat was also stunned. The 2nd son of the Ngai family, Ngai Dean Hao? Are you Ngai Sun Hao's younger brother? Dean Hao was taken aback again. You even know my eldest brother? Strong Hat shouted, of course. We are buddies. Ghost Lady continued. You want to send this letter to the Ngai family in Guangdong. It will take at least 10 days to get there. Dean Hao nodded. No matter, I have waited 5 years. What is 10 more days? She then presented an object and said, please accept this. This is a token showing that you have become an honored guest of the Hao Gate. As long as you display it where you stay, our informants will find you automatically. Inside the girl's mind, a thought flashed through. A young man of only 17, yet possessing the ability to overwhelm both Kong Vo and the shadows in a single move. Surely in the Central Plains right now, no one can match such terrifying power. Establishing a good relationship with him will certainly do no harm. He took the piece of cloth and asked curiously, do I get things for free every time I use this? The girl quickly replied, no, it is not like that. Dean Hao sighed. Then it is pretty much useless. She interrupted him immediately. Since you put it that way, next time. Only for the next time I will not charge you an info fee. This is a special favor I am giving you personally. I do not want the relationship between the gate and you to become distant just because of the misunderstanding that just occurred. Dean Hao chuckled. It is not such a big deal. Why are you being so dramatic? His face as dark as a soot-covered pot. I came here and got my secret stash drained dry, and my eyes punch bruised like an eggplant. And you still have the nerve to say that? Dean Hao smiled to himself. Just an ordinary day. Who told you to be a lake dog? Strong Hat yelled. I told you that is not it. Afterward, the two left the Hao Gate, seeing Strong Hat complaining endlessly about money. Dean Hao glanced at him and sighed. Money comes and goes and comes. Besides, as a beggar, don't be so greedy. You should live according to your station. Inside, Strong Hat felt pure resentment. That bastard is like my mortal enemy. Yet I cannot strike him down right now. He decided to turn away. Anyway, you have squeezed out all the info you needed, right? Exactly. So, you have nothing left to do in Kaifeng, I assume. But suddenly Dean Hao grabbed his shoulder. Wait a sec. I still have a little problem. I am completely out of travel funds. The veins on Strong Hat's face popped. He didn't dare curse him to his face, so he just looked at the sky and screamed. God damn it. Inside the Hao Gate, Ghost Lady stood on the highest floor watching them. After a moment, she spoke up. Kong Vo, send word to the main sect immediately. Tell them the missing 2nd son of the Ngai family has returned as a master. Scene shifts to the Hanlin Academy forest. By the lake, someone was sitting, enjoying the view and tea. It was the great scholar Ven Huhon. He sipped tea while mentioning the 9 Heavens Festival. Just then, a young woman approached from behind. Father, you have a visitor. This was his daughter, Van and Tri. He asked suspiciously. I do not have any appointments today, do I? She explained. The guest said he wished to have a hand conversation with you. Hearing this, his face lit up with joy. Hand conversation meant playing a game of Go, a discipline he dearly loved. A moment later, and Tri returned. I have brought the guest, father. The one who came to find him was none other than Dean Howe. He still looked disheveled as he asked, I wonder if this sudden visit of mine is bothering you, sir. The man hurriedly invited him. How could it be a bother? Having a guest visit like this, considered an elegant pleasure for a scholar like me. So, do you truly wish to have a hand conversation with me? Dean Howe sat down opposite him and confirmed, indeed, because it is the only thing I know. Van Hoon flashed a bright smile, nodding calmly. Excellent, then let us try a match. I will take the white stones, please make the first move. Dean Howe did not hesitate, quickly picking up a stone, his voice eager. Then I shall take the liberty of opening the match. Observing the somewhat clumsy way the young man held the stone, Van Hoon could not help but feel a slight tinge of disappointment. Looking at this posture, I am afraid I cannot expect much from his skills. Perhaps he came here just looking for a warm meal instead. Well, I will just play along for a perfunctory match, then find a way to lend him a hand. However, very quickly after that, Dean Howe seriously placed down his first stone. This look of concentration and decisiveness made Van Hoon slightly startled. Is this not a beginner? Interesting. Then let me see how deep your talent goes. After a few moves back and forth, Van Hoon began to fall into deep thought. Is he a speed play style master? The mastery in this formation does not fit his young age at all. The two continued to compete on the board. And the more they played, the more sweat poured from Van Hoon's brow. His hand holding the stone began to tremble. With hesitation, what the hell is going on? This is no longer a speed play level. Isn't this a war demon? War demon here refers to a player with an aggressive, terrifying style, ruthless like a demon on the battlefield. Seeing his opponent hesitating, Dean Howe smiled and asked, Are you not moving anymore? Van Hoon stared blankly at the board, silently marveling. Amazing. His momentum is like a fierce wave, rolling on without end. Even though we are not actually facing off in a life and death battle, he still attacks so fiercely, violent like someone maddened by war. Just discovering the smallest opening, he immediately lunges in, savagely tearing at the opponent, like a starving ghoul. This is truly a war demon. At this, he clasped his hands, his voice full of respect. This was truly an outstanding match. You truly possess a very unique style. Dean Howe replied politely, Thank you. You flatter me. It is only because I am often tormented by a terrible master. Hearing this, Van Hoon was quite surprised. Do you have a master, my friend? In Dean Howe's mind, memories of those days in the cave flashed back. His master's voice echoed. If you lose, you train 10 times harder. If I lose, I will give you 3 days off. Recalling this, he sighed softly. I do, sir. My master is an incredibly difficult old man. If you do not mind, I would very much like to stay here for a while. Because my master instructed me to do so. He told me to try living in the scholar forest for a bit, to learn about the world and gain experience. Van Hoon heard this and suddenly understood. Oh, I see. So, you are following your master's guidance? If that is the case, then of course I must lend a hand. A restless person cannot play a leisurely game. Please feel at ease and stay as long as you like. Afterward, he turned to give instructions to his daughter and Tri. Prepare a room and clothes for our guest. Oh, that is right. First, take our guest to the bathhouse. Dean Howe hurriedly waved his hands. But I do not have any money, sir. Van Hoon laughed heartily. How could I expect such material things from the guest who visit this place? Actually, even if you had not asked, I was already planning to invite you to stay. In return, I only hope that you will occasionally join me or other visitors here for a few games of Go to relax the mind. Dean Howe scratched his face and nodded slightly. I think I can manage that much. Then I shall follow and try. At this time, she signaled for him to follow her. Very soon after, Dean Howe was soaking in a warm bath, letting his whole body relax. Man, this feels great. I used to hate bathing the most. But why is the water here so pleasant? Is the water just that good? Even my skin looks like it is improved. This is all because of you. You damn old man. I am so happy right now I could cry. A moment later, and Tri finished preparing the clothes and returned. Her mind was still full of confusion. She truly could not understand why her father accepted someone like that as a guest in the manor. Right at that moment, Dean Howe suddenly walked out of the bathroom, completely naked. The girl let out a shrill scream, and Tri hurriedly shoved the clothes toward him. I thought you were a ghost. Please cover yourself up. Dean Howe reached out to take the clothes, looking completely dazed and confused, and Tri stole a glance at him, her cheeks turning crimson. After cleaning up, he looked quite handsome. Furthermore, he had a sturdy, toned body with clear six-pack abs. After covering his lower half, he glanced at her and asked, "Is this okay now?" And Tri stammered in shock. "You? Who even are you?" In the blink of an eye, several days passed, and Tri rushed to her father, her voice full of frustration. "Father, please say something to that guy, the newcomer in the manor. Except for waking up to eat meals delivered to him, he just sleeps all day long. It has been 7 days and 7 nights of this behavior." Van Hoon heard this, and seemed to be reflecting. "Now that you mention it, I have not even asked his name yet." And Tri continued to complain. "Father, did you not always teach us that laziness is a crime? You always remind us to live diligently and hard-workingly. Why? Why do you not scold his laziness, even if he is a guest? Because of him, the atmosphere in the manor is becoming indescribably bad. It is unbearable," he replied calmly. "And Tri, I love playing Go, because through the game, I can understand an opponent. Words can be chosen, expressions can be hidden, but one's true essence cannot be concealed. A leisurely person cannot enjoy a fierce battle. A person's life and character are fully revealed through their essence. Regarding that man, his essence is incredibly violent and hot-tempered. I have never seen anyone with such extreme energy. From that, I conclude he is definitely not a lazy or leisurely man. Perhaps he had to live a life so miserable and harsh that we cannot even imagine it. The harsher the sun, the darker the shadow. If he appears lazy, it means his previous life was extremely exhausting. No one has the heart to chase away a bird seeking shelter from the rain, nor does anyone ask why it does not fly off through the storm. Therefore, can you not let him rest just a little longer?" And Tri heard this, and could only sigh. "I understand, Father." She said that, but her heart thought otherwise. When she reached Dean Howe's room, she could not restrain herself. Father is definitely being fooled by him. A lazy bum like this cannot possibly be a hidden dragon, as he says. I must kick him out no matter what. She walked over and told him to wake up. Dean Howe turned over and asked, "What is it?" She angrily grabbed the blanket and pulled. "I told you to get up. The sun is already directly overhead." He sat up reluctantly. "Oh, is it? Why didn't you wait until sunset to wake me?" She snapped back irritably. "What kind of person are you? Where is your shame? How can you be so lazy for 7 days and nights in a place where everyone is studying diligently?" He glanced at her and replied nonchalantly, "You guys study because you want to study, and I sleep because I want to sleep. Is there a problem?" She grew even angrier and yelled, "Enough with the nonsense. Even if it wasn't for that reason, I cannot stand the sight of you rolling around in bed for 7 days. Now, who do you think has to wash that blanket for you? You have to work if you want to eat. You might not know this, but the situation here is not exactly wealthy. If you were a scholar, I could sympathize somewhat. But this place has no extra rice to feed a freeloader." He was puzzled. That can't be right. Clearly your father has. Before he could finish, she cut him off. "I am the one in charge of the money here." Dean Howe sighed. "So, what do you want me to do now, miss?" She led him outside and pointed at a pile of things. "Just wash all of this, and we will call it even." He looked at it and asked, "All of this? Is this the price for my meals? God, did I eat gold-plated rice or something?" And Tri turned and walked away, smiling to herself. "I'll leave it to you then. Make sure you get them clean. If even one item is dirty, I'll make you redo it all. So, you better wash them thoroughly." She walked off, feeling smug. Taste some misery for once, because there is no way you can finish that today. But 1 hour later, she was shocked to see everything washed clean and hanging on the rack. She couldn't believe it. How could you finish all of this so fast? Was that blanket always this color? How on earth did you do it? No, I cannot let him get away with this. Just you wait. She then led him to the woodpile. He looked at the logs in front of him and asked, "You want me to chop all this wood?" She replied with a sly smile, "I'll give you a week. Can you do it? Thinking gleefully, a week. You'll run away before the day is out. But when she returned again, she saw him finished with everything, sleeping on the wood. What the hell is going on? This is a workload that would take 10 strong men 10 days to finish. Then it was scrubbing floors and sweeping. Everything went the same way, and Try grit her teeth in fury. How can he handle all of this like that? The great scholar's decision to letting Guy Dinhao into the manor was truly a mistake. He really should not have let him stay here. Hearing this, the youth looked confused and asked, "Why do you say that, sir?" The god beggar slowly explained, "Because I can tell you for sure, wherever that guy sets foot, disaster is bound to follow. Even if that was not his intention, but wherever he goes, chaos is bound to erupt there. The scholar's world is no exception. Ever since Wei Yanhao appeared, the once peaceful hall of learning has been swept into a vortex of upheaval." The youngster still did not understand. He then asked, "What exactly happened, sir?" The god of gamblers replied thoughtfully, "It all started with those Go matches. One day, Yanhao sat playing and thought to himself, how did I end up in this situation? Initially I thought guests came to the manor just to play a simple game of Go. Outside the manor, a long line of people was waiting. They were gossiping loudly. It seems like everyone received an invitation for 3 great scholars to send invitations. This person must be a player with a very unique playstyle. I was curious too, so I rushed here to see. A piece will rot if it stays still. The board is set and only waiting for its master. Now the time has come. Please visit so we can discuss together." Once they witnessed Yanhao's playstyle, everyone could not help but be amazed. How can his style be so dominating? He gives his opponents 0 chances. Before long, the Hanlin Academy had a new saint of Go. Countless high-level players were defeated in total submission, but Yanhao's victory felt bitter because he tried to lose on purpose, just to avoid being challenged to duels. "Why are more people coming to challenge me?" He sighed inwardly. "In this state, I would rather do laundry. Sitting too much is making my back ache." Suddenly a loud shout caught his attention. "I told you I do not like it." Yanhao peeked over to see the drama. A tall dark guy who was rich but classless wanted to marry Yinzi. He was Lu Mufeng. Yinzi's attitude was firm. "You have no chance." His eyes turned cold and threatening. "You will regret this, but I advise you to reconsider. Because I never let what I want slip away. What I like, I must seize at any cost to be satisfied. Right now I am still being polite. But if you continue to refuse, the next time it will not be advice because of your selfishness. Do you intend to let Hanlin Academy, a place of glorious history, collapse? Are you okay with that?" But Yinzi waved him off fiercely. "Just try it. Hanlin Academy will not fall that easily." He continued to apply pressure. This made Yinzi even angrier as she shouted, "I hate ugly guys like you the most. Acting like a big shot at home and a bully outside. Listen up and listen well. I will never marry you." Then Yinzi immediately turned to leave, but her small hand was grabbed by him. Seeing that, she screamed, "Let me go." Mu Feng's face was bulging with veins. "You should not have provoked me." Then with a perverted look, he threatened to force himself on her. "Let's see if you are still so arrogant then." Yinzi heard this and trembled in fear. Right then, Yanhao spoke up. "That is no way for a guest to talk." Yinzi took the chance to escape his grip, then turned to Yanhao and scolded him. "Have you finished all the laundry yet?" He noticed her hand shaking from the pain. Next he borrowed a hair tie. With a cold gaze he walked straight to Mu Feng. This made him speak up in annoyance. "Don't you know it is rude to eavesdrop on others?" He walked up to him and replied nonchalantly, "You swine are dressed well enough, yet you dare bark at me." Mu Feng quickly recognized him. "You are the Hanlin Saint of Go, the new rising idol." His face remained cold. "So who are you?" As he was about to introduce himself, Yanhao suddenly cut him off. "Actually, who gives a damn who you are?" This made the fat guy lose his mind. He just wanted to start a fight. At this time, the players recognized him as someone from the Lu family, who wanted to test his skills tomorrow. Mu Feng had to leave. But before going, he did not forget to threaten. "If you do not find me within 3 days, I will handle things my own way." Only then did he turn to ask Yinzi, "Who is that aggressive jerk?" She explained to him. "He is Lu Mufeng, adopted son of eunuch Lu Ji, the man holding all power in the palace." He was curious, "Why is he interested in you?" Yinzi replied shyly. "He said I must marry him." I have said no many times. But he keeps clinging to me, it is annoying as hell. Yanhao teased, I think he is not bad. Both powerful and devoted. Yinzi screamed, you want to die. That guy does not want to marry out of love. He just wants to use me. Then she explained, you might not know, but my father is highly respected among scholars. He is even regarded as a potential prime minister, leading the country, despite that he prefers a secluded life, ignoring the political world. The reason is that the eunuchs manipulating the palace are wary of my father. Hanlin Academy is not under any jurisdiction, so building a foundation was very difficult. But thanks to that, it could build deep relations with many forces, with many powers. Though everyone knows eunuchs are corrupt, no one can expel them, because the scholar forces cannot unite to resist. But if my father takes an official post and coordinates the scholar forces, then the eunuchs will be threatened. Because of this, Lord Lu is doing everything to stop my father from entering politics. Recently he found a way, which is my marriage to Lu Mufeng. At the same time, Mufeng was kneeling to report, forgive me, father, because at Hanlin Academy a figure appeared, named the Hanlin Saint of Go. The marriage has become more difficult. Eunuch Lu Ji with a robust body spoke without hesitation. He is just a nobody with no sect or faction anyway. The soldier explained he is not the problem, but because of playing Go with him. Many experts from across the land are flocking here. There are too many eyes watching, making our actions extremely restricted. Any mistake in acting could invite a backlash. He spoke while breaking into a cold sweat. Lu Ji understood but did not forget to threaten. Do you think this mission is just for my safety? Controlling the palace is a mission personally, ordered from above. Failure means everyone dies. His eyes were cruel as he ordered. If there are too many powerful people, then use them to our advantage instead. Just kill them all. Even that Saint of Go is no exception. The next day at the Imperial Censorate, Prince Li came to meet the great scholar. Do you still refuse to enter politics? He replied calmly, please forgive me, sir. Prince Li then questioned, why don't you understand that? Only you can maintain the balance in court and stop Lu Ji from seizing all power. Listen, Wen Yuhuan. Recently their movements have been very unusual. His gaze became dangerous. Even within the military and the literati, some have shown signs of disloyalty. Lu Ji is distracting us. Yuhuan became puzzled. Why would a eunuch, with no descendants, want to rebel? The imperial censor then explained, because of the one he serves behind the scenes. The power struggle between eunuchs is more terrifying than we imagine. Yet Lu Ji, who had no roots, has wiped out his peers and risen to this position. Those who opposed him died in accidents, while those who did not often fell ill suddenly and passed away. It is as if someone prepared the stairs for him to climb. Therefore I speculate, there must be someone powerful backing him. That is why I need you to lead the scholars, to be able to stand against them. Yuhuan wanted more time to think, and the imperial censor did not push him. He changed the subject. Who is this rising talent you have here? Speaking of this, Yuhuan's face lit up as he praised him for being extraordinary. Prince Li was also curious and wanted to meet him once. Following orders, Yinzi called for Yanhao, but his appearance, soaking wet like a drowned rat, made everyone wonder. It is not even raining out there. Yuhuan stepped forward and asked, did you sleep well? He replied, very well, until your daughter splashed a basin of water in my face. Yuhuan then introduced the imperial censor. He did not want to reveal his identity, claiming to be just a curious old man passing by, who simply wants a game of Go with you. Yanhao directly refused. The reason is many people are already in line. Since you arrived late, you naturally cannot play first. The prince laughed, I have a way to handle this. I just need to ask for the other's opinion. However, he did not see it that way. Isn't that just coercion? The prince was left speechless. He speculated that given your look you must hold a high rank. So if you just speak up, others are forced to give in. But in their hearts they will not be convinced. Even if I do not look like it, I have my own principles and promises. The prince's face darkened as he thought, this kid is really stubborn. Is there really no exception? But he was still firmly rejected. Yinzi, standing nearby, spoke up. Maybe I have a solution. She gently placed her hand on his shoulder. All the matches scheduled for today, including this one, I will cancel them all. Hearing that, he cried out in shock, what is that for real? Yinzi remained firm. If you want to rest, then do not play tricks. Finally, he had to compromise. Seeing this, the prince no longer thought highly of him. He wanted to use the game to see what kind of man he really was. In a flash, it was dark. He was still sitting dazed at the board, without saying a word. Yuhuan went to check on him. Why are you still here? He stroked his beard, contemplating deeply. A terrifyingly elusive playstyle. This kind of style, even on a battlefield, is probably hard to witness. What exactly has he been through? The fierce intensity on the board, or his usual lazy attitude? Neither is the kind of talent I am looking for. The prince finally spoke. I do not understand why you value him so much. The other person replied, because I saw it with my own eyes. When I played him, there was a moment when I executed a brilliant move. I thought the game was over, so I looked up and looked across to the other side. I saw a gaze of pure selflessness in him. A gaze that only those completely immersed would reveal. It is extremely rare. The prince asked curiously, are you sure you aren't mistaken? And was confirmed, I am absolutely certain. The prince stubbornly walked away. He looked up at the moon and sighed, what a pity. A perfect night should have nothing to be sad about. At this moment, someone appeared here. It was Mu Feng and his gang of assassins. Under his command, they all moved in, charging straight into the academy. The guards noticed, but it was too late. They were taken down in an instant. Countless servants were slaughtered, including the Go players who came for challenges. With a wave of Mu Feng's hand, he shouted, capture them all. Tonight not even a mouse shall escape. He was still sleeping soundly, having no idea what was happening. The fat guy thought of how Yanzi humiliated him that day. He became even more resentful. Very quickly, everyone was captured and tied up. Yuan questioned, what is the meaning of this? The fat guy explained, we received information about suspicious activity within the Hanlin Academy. Powerful figures often visit this place. You are all plotting a rebellion, aren't you? Yuan shouted back in anger. We are only here to play Go. But that guy was still trying to frame them. How can I believe you are all here just for a simple game of Go? He gave them no chance to explain. Mu Feng turned back to ask his lackey, where is that guy? But the answer was, there is no one else left in the academy. Maybe he escaped beforehand, that bastard. He then spoke up. Either way, if you nobles are innocent, you will be released soon. Once the search is over, if no issues are found, you will be set free and compensated. Right then a subordinate reported, we found something. It is a petition signed by the rebels. Everyone immediately shouted, no such thing exists. I have never heard of this. The fat guy remained stubborn, using fake evidence to force a confession. Clearly, this was a trap they created. These Go players have such rookie logic. The whole group shouted to explain, I am not part of any rebellion. The prince stood up from the crowd and shouted, Lu Feng, you are quite good at playing games. I am the Imperial Censor, Prince Li. The crowd was overjoyed. It is the prince. We are saved this time. Mu Feng quickly bowed respectfully. Had the first known the Imperial Censor himself was here, how would I dare act so rashly? The prince told him to untie him, but he maintained his previous attitude. First, let me ask why you are rebelling. This made the old man break into a sweat. Mu Feng smiled sinisterly. Do you think I did not know you were here? Two lackeys quickly pinned him down to the ground. A rebellion always has a core. Hanlin Academy could never be the leader. Prince Li here must be the mastermind. The old man shouted back in a threat. Do you think you can just act wildly like this? I will make sure none of you survive. Mu Feng replied coldly, you are wrong. You won't be able to report this to the emperor, because you will never see him again. He pointed at them and barked. Traitors are to be executed immediately. All of you will die here. In this pathetic academy, a prince and many nobles captured, along with a signed petition, plotting a total rebellion. What do you think the emperor will believe when he hears this news? In the eyes of the world, this is clearly evidence of treason. Ha ha ha. The prince roared in anger but could do nothing. Mu Feng then turned to Yanzi. I warned you that everything would be decided by me. This is the result of you rejecting me. Because of you, everyone here will die. He lifted her chin with his filthy hand. Yanzi spat directly in his face with contempt. She was determined, I would rather die here than marry a man like you. Hearing those words, his face became even more twisted. Don't worry, I won't kill you. I will make your life a living hell. She threatened to end her own life, but he said, if you do that, then your father will pay in your place. And if your father does the same, someone else will have to take his place. Treason means the extermination of the whole clan. None of you can run. So, why don't you just do it? He grabbed her hair and pulled hard. Yuan witnessed this and was furious, but could do nothing. With a perverted face, he stroked her cheek. In despair, Yanzi silently prayed for help. Someone please help me. Just then her expression changed, looking into the distance. A figure was clumsily climbing the wall to escape. The movements were way too unprofessional. Yinzi immediately shouted Wei Yanhao, making him spin around in surprise, his face dripping with sweat. Haha, what is going on here that is so crowded? Yinzi asked. What the hell are you doing here? He said nonchalantly, obviously running away. You dare to openly admit you are running away. So, what? What is wrong with admitting I am fleeing? Do you think I am too elegant to tell the truth? Or do you want me to say I am using one of the 36 stratagems? Before you are satisfied, you know martial arts, you should be helping us. But he waved his hand in refusal. If I risk my life with these mediocre skills, I would just die sooner. In this situation, playing dumb is the best plan. Only those who fear death live long, haven't you heard? So, you guys just carry on. Do not mind me. The three of them were beyond disappointed. He is truly useless. Mu Feng would not let him go. He shouted, stay right there for me. You are mixed up in treason, which means clan execution. Where else can you run? He remained naive. How would I know if I do not try? Ignoring his threat, he waved goodbye and said, see you next time. The fat guy went berserk and ordered his capture. The lackeys immediately charged at him with swords. The situation turned critical as Yinzi yelled, run, making him a bit confused. Earlier you told me to save you, now you tell me to run. What exactly do you mean? Women are so confusing. The lackey swung his sword to strike, but in the blink of an eye he vanished, leaving only an afterimage. Then he took him down with a move as light as a feather. He acted very cool, while the other guy was the complete opposite, doing a headstand. Witnessing that scene made everyone panic. What the hell just happened? Mu Feng spoke up. Turns out you kid have some skills after all. He replied awkwardly, haha, thanks for the compliment. The other guy got more resentful. I was not praising you. He ordered Hai Yi to take him down, but do not kill him. I want to tear this brat apart myself. Hai Yi was about to strike, but he paused. Wait. I need to use a sword. Can you wait a moment? I think I left it in my room. Seeing that he refused, he started mocking. What? You look like a grown man. Is it really a bother for a kid to grab his sword? Only 5 years ago, the way of the sword was not this pathetic. I do not know how in that time, people's hearts have become so harsh. He looked toward a broom, making him confused. No sword. Yanhao could only use a broom to fight instead. His expression became even more ugly. Are you looking down on me? Didn't you refuse to let me get my sword? He took a stance, prepared to attack, not forgetting to threaten him. I will make you wish you were dead. Seeing that he talked too much, he said, just fight already, I am getting sleepy here. The guy's face was even more resentful dealing with this clown. He charged forward with his weapon like lightning, his face full of confidence. But a second later his face was pummeled out of shape. He used the mop to easily blow him away. With just one move, this guy was unconscious on the ground, unable to move. Everyone watching was terrified and breaking a sweat. He swung the broom lightly. Sure enough, a broom is best for dealing with trash. Hai Yi had woken up by now. Even he did not understand what just happened. He pointed the broom at him, questioning. Are you stupid? Charging in head-on like that? You should size up your opponent first. He was so angry his guts twisted as he lunged. But as before, he was beaten down repeatedly. I explained it already, and you still did not listen. This guy thought, how the hell is he so fast? Then he quickly backed off. He pulled something out from inside his clothes. As much as I hate to admit it, it is hard to believe, but this kid is definitely not just a loud myth. However, in real combat, the strongest does not always win. He pulled out a poisoned dagger, but it was immediately noticed. Why are you fighting so dirty, big brother? But that will not work on me. In an instant, Yanhao closed the distance, terrifying him. What kind of speed is this? With a crack, the poisoned dagger was knocked away. Then he delivered dozens of strikes to his head. The guy simply fainted and collapsed to the ground. Everyone witnessing was in awe. They did not expect the Saint of Go to be this strong. The fat guy's face turned pale. Impossible. Could he really handle Hai Yi so easily? That is the leader of the shadow group that my father spent decades of effort to train. But Yanhao suggested, if you back down now, it will be much more comfortable for both sides. He actually clapped in praise. To have such martial arts at your age, you are quite impressive. His face started beaming. You are absolutely right. This made Yinzi angry. What are you so happy about? He replied innocently. He is complimenting me. Mu Feng thought he was a fool and spoke up. Just being able to meet a martial artist of your caliber is valuable enough for me to accept all of this. He wanted to invite him to join his side. Join me, and then I will give you things that you cannot even imagine. I will give you power to hold the whole world in your hands and a massive fortune. His face became serious. How could I be moved by those words? Yinzi felt heartened by this. She was about to fall for him. Yanhao did a 180 with a greedy look. Could you try giving me a specific number? Yinzi was furious, her face bulging with veins as she screamed, Yanhao, you want to die? The prince felt the same, shouting, what are you saying? Are power and money that important to you? He received a simultaneous answer from those two. Of course they are important. Money can buy anything, old man. The prince looked stunned. Well, they are important, I guess. But how much power can he give you? How much wealth? Just let this prince bestow it upon you. This caught his attention, and the fat guy mocked him. What do you think he can give you? Despite being the emperor's brother, he has given up all his luxury. At best, he can only give you a spot in the censorate. But my father is different. He can give you a massive fortune and power that will make everyone jealous. He turned to the prince and criticized him. It seems you aren't very wealthy either. This statement made him flinch. It's true. Yuan spoke up to clarify. Helping evil people plot a rebellion versus exposing a treasonous plot. How can these two things be the same? Didn't your master teach you any sense of righteousness? He broke into a cold sweat, thinking to himself, seeing how he mentions his master every time he opens his mouth. He surely takes his master's words as a guiding light, and no master would ever teach his disciple wrong things. Surely he would only teach him things that benefit us. He quickly answered, my master taught me money buys beauties to hold, and always go with whoever has the most cash. The answer made the two old men fall back in shock. Whether talking about morality or reputation, those are just empty things. They cannot feed you. Loneliness is still better than anything. Master also told me not to live a kind life. Grab as much as you can when you have the chance. That is the real truth. Yuan was too tired to even speak. How can there be such a bizarre master? Mu Feng saw the opening and spoke, inviting him to join his team. Do you want to serve my father? Hearing the word serve, he suddenly flipped. I still have to do that too. Yinzi quickly shouted, I will not force you to do anything. I will provide you with the finest delicacies and let you rest in a first-class room all day long. The fat guy also made an offer. If you do not want to work, you do not have to do a thing. Naturally, the promised reward will still be yours. Yanhao approached him and praised him as a young lord. You truly have the spirit of a great man. The guy was impressed too. Haha, how could I compare to a hero like you? The other three thought, are you playing a joke on us, right? Then the fat guy gave the assignment. First, kill everyone here. They are traitors plotting a rebellion. Extermination is the sentence they must face. Yinzi was furious hearing that. He asked naively, so why did you guys rebel? Even the evidence is all here. He scratched his head looking at the fat guy. Anyway, I have never killed anyone before. He held out his hand. Then let me give you a sword. He kept yapping about justice. I do not want blood on my hands, but law is law. It must be enforced. He raised the sword high, pointing straight at Yuan. Yinzi cried out in worry, father, while he silently apologized to his daughter for getting her involved. Suddenly his sword was blocked by Yanhao's hands. Alright, let's stop here. The fat guy thought this guy is too strong. He yelled out, did we not just make an agreement? He replied, I like being at leisure, but if they die I will feel very guilty. Besides, my master once said, a debt of gratitude must be repaid before it gains 20 times the interest. It is time for me to pay back this favor. The three of them were overjoyed at those words. Sure enough, I did not misjudge him. Mu Feng laughed loudly in confusion. Do you think I am afraid of you? He released a powerful aura and roared. Anyone I want dead absolutely cannot live. Consider it an honor to die by my hand. His palm strike was released. Countless giant hands lunged at him with pressure, making everyone tremble in fear. He seemed to flicker in and out of sight, dodging every move as smooth as a superstar. Mu Feng was terrified by this sight. How is this possible? Then a single kick sent him rolling away. Everyone was stunned, unable to believe their eyes. Is he dead? Mu Feng knelt on the ground, supporting himself, as if severely wounded. When Yanhao threatened another punch, he broke into a cold sweat and cried, let's just act like this never happened, okay? The crowd was speechless. Wait, that's my line. The prince ordered, capture him quickly. He started yapping again. If I do not return, my father will start Plan B, and the palace will bleed. Luji's forces are already very powerful. No one knows how far he will go. In the end, he decided to let Mufeng go. That's crazy. If it were me, he'd be long gone. Before he left, he gave him some advice. Though your kung fu is indeed powerful, but while using bone-shrinking techniques, your power will inevitably decrease. If you really want to deal with me, better get rid of that fat transformation instead. This caught him off guard. He recognized it. He walked away quickly. Just you wait. We will meet again. Everything finally ended, and just like that, he could sleep all day without Yinzi bothering him. Yet then she came back screaming for him to wake up. Father needs to see you. The truth was revealed through their conversation. Turns out the prince is also a master. He only pretended to test him, but he was also wary. If he acted, then Eunuch Lu would discover he has martial skills, plus the evidence framing him for gathering factions would stick. He knew it from the start. He only helped because of Yinzi. The foolish girl who cried for help knew nothing. Even her father is a top-tier master. However, he prefers to live a secluded life as a scholar to avoid conflict. Yanhao promised not to reveal this, though he already knew. He even gave him some pointers. Look at the world for what it is. Use your heart to feel. He seemed to reach enlightenment, gaining the strength to reach a new level. Finally, it's time for some sleep. Tomorrow morning, he must leave this place. That is the end of part 1. Do not forget to like the video for Bear.